I used to believe that if something was wrong in a marriage, you would feel it immediately. But the truth is, everything felt normal, right up until it didn't. I used to think that if something was wrong in a marriage, you'd feel it in your bones, like a constant alarm you couldn't shut off. Looking back now, that belief feels almost naive. If I'm being honest, the scariest part of my story isn't what my wife did. It's how normal everything felt right up until it wasn't. For years, I thought we were solid. Not perfect, not some Instagram version of happiness, but stable in the way that matters. We had routines. We had inside jokes that didn't need explaining. We argued about stupid things, like whose turn it was to buy groceries, or why she always left her coffee mug in the sink instead of the dishwasher. Our life moved in predictable loops. Wake up, work, dinner, TV, sleep. Weekends meant errands, maybe brunch, maybe seeing friends. It wasn't exciting, but it felt safe. I mistook the absence of chaos for proof of loyalty. I trusted her without thinking about it. Trust was just the default setting. When she worked late, I assumed work was stressful. When she seemed tired, I assumed life was heavy. When she grew a little distant, I chalked it up to phases people go through when they've been together a long time. I never once imagined betrayal. That word belonged to other people's marriages, the ones you read about online and think, how did they not see it? I'm writing this now because enough time has passed that the shock has dulled, but not so much that I've forgotten how it felt. I guess this is me finally admitting out loud that my marriage wasn't what I thought it was, and that realization broke something in me that I'm still trying to understand. The first cracks didn't announce themselves dramatically. There was no lipstick on a collar or late-night phone calls she whispered through. It was smaller than that. Quieter. She started guarding her phone in a way she never had before. Face down on the table. Always within reach. If I picked it up to check the time, she'd tense, just slightly, like a muscle twitch. She laughed less around me. When I talked about my day, her eyes would drift somewhere over my shoulder, like she was listening from another room. I noticed, but I didn't connect the dots. I told myself everyone changes, that marriages evolve, that intimacy ebbs and flows. I even felt guilty for feeling lonely, like wanting more of her attention meant I was being needy or ungrateful. So I swallowed it. I adapted. I tried harder. I planned dates. I asked her how she was feeling. She'd smile, say she was fine, maybe a little stressed, and I'd accept it because accepting it was easier than questioning it. The discovery wasn't cinematic. It didn't happen all at once. It came in pieces, like my brain was being fed the truth in doses, small enough not to kill me outright. One night, she fell asleep on the couch with her phone still in her hand. That alone wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the notification that lit up the screen, a name I didn't recognize, a message preview that read, "I can't stop thinking about last night." I didn't open it right away. I actually put the phone down, like touching it would make me complicit in something terrible. I told myself it was probably harmless. A friend, a coworker, a misunderstanding. But my heart was already pounding in a way that didn't match the situation. Eventually, curiosity gave way to fear, and fear won. I unlocked the phone. I don't know how to describe the moment without sounding dramatic, but it felt like the floor dropped out from under me. The messages weren't ambiguous. There was no room for interpretation. They talked about missing each other, about stolen time, about things they'd done together that she had never done with me, or at least not in years. There were jokes, plans, intimacy laid bare in glowing text. I sat there in the dark, scrolling, my wife asleep a few feet away, and it felt unreal, like I was reading someone else's life, someone else's marriage. My hands were shaking so badly I had to put the phone down because I was afraid I'd wake her. I didn't confront her that night. I don't know why. Maybe I needed time to breathe. Maybe I wanted to pretend, just for a few more hours, that I didn't know. I went to bed and stared at the ceiling until morning, replaying every moment of the past year, wondering how much of it had been a lie. The confrontation happened the next evening. I didn't plan a speech. I didn't rehearse. I just asked her to sit down and told her I'd seen the messages. The color drained from her face so fast, it was almost impressive. She didn't deny it. That hurt more than if she had. She cried. She said it didn't mean anything. She said it just happened. She said she'd been feeling disconnected, unseen, lonely. She told me it wasn't my fault, which somehow made it worse. She said it was a mistake, that she never meant to hurt me, that she still loved me. I listened, numb. Every explanation felt like a translation of something I didn't speak. All I could think was that while I'd been trying to fix imaginary problems, she'd been building a secret life right under my nose. I asked how long it had been going on. She hesitated, then told me. Longer than I'd hoped. Shorter than I feared. The exact length almost didn't matter. What mattered was that every "I love you" during that time now felt contaminated. The days that followed blurred together. Shock gave way to anger. Anger gave way to a sadness so heavy it felt physical. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I kept cycling through emotions like my brain was stuck on repeat. One moment I wanted to scream. The next, I wanted to beg her to stay. I hated her. I missed her. I hated myself for missing her. I questioned everything about myself. Was I boring? Too comfortable? Not enough? I replayed conversations, searching for clues I'd missed, moments where I could have changed the outcome if I'd just said the right thing. The self-blame was relentless, even though a part of me knew her choices weren't my responsibility. We talked. A lot. Some conversations were calm, almost clinical. Others ended in tears or silence. She wanted to work on the marriage. She promised transparency, therapy, anything. I believed she was sorry. I just wasn't sure that was enough. What broke me wasn't just the affair. It was the realization that the version of my life I'd been living wasn't real. That the stability I'd trusted was, in part, an illusion. Accepting that meant grieving not just my wife as I knew her, but myself, the man who believed so fully in something that didn't exist. In the end, I chose to leave, not because I didn't love her anymore, but because I didn't recognize myself in the marriage we had after the truth came out. I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop, always scanning for signs. Love shouldn't feel like surveillance. Leaving was quiet, no dramatic exit, just boxes, awkward conversations, and the slow dismantling of a shared life. It hurt in a different way, a dull ache instead of a sharp wound. But it also brought a strange sense of peace. Now, with some distance, I can see things more clearly. I've learned that trust isn't just about believing someone won't hurt you. It's about knowing you'll be okay if they do. I've learned that normal doesn't always mean healthy, and comfort can sometimes hide neglect. Most of all, I've learned that listening to that quiet voice in your head isn't paranoia, it's self-respect. If you're reading this and something feels off in your relationship, don't ignore it just because nothing is obviously wrong. Ask questions. Have the uncomfortable conversations. And if the truth hurts, remember that living a lie hurts longer. I'm still rebuilding, still figuring out who I am without the life I thought I'd have. But at least now, whatever comes next will be real.